Federal employees have something new to worry about here in Washington. Elon Musk, who was selected by Donald Trump to find areas to cut in the government, is going after individual workers in a very public way, shaming them before his legions of followers on X. Last week, Musk singled out federal workers on a social media platform that's become a tool of the MAGA movement. CNN media correspondent Hadass Gold joins me now. Hadass, I mean, this obviously has the potential to get very disturbing very quickly. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is bipartisan support, even amongst some federal workers, to try and streamline and make the government more efficient. And federal employees are aware that there's likely going to be a lot of job cuts. But this is something that's really scaring them. And that is that Elon Musk reposted several posts from other users that revealed the private names of 4 women who are working in climate-related jobs in the government. Now, one of the posts says, "I don't think the U.S. taxpayer should pay for the employment of a director of climate diversification." Musk then reposted that post and said, "So many fake jobs." Now, the information that was posted is from a publicly available database on government employees, and it does not reveal phone numbers or addresses or anything like that. But these people who were revealed, these are otherwise sort of relatively unknown government employees. None of them have public-facing jobs as spokespeople or anything like that. So by the richest man in the world, close confidant of the president-elect, essentially putting their names on blast, for many federal employees, this really scares them that Elon Musk's legions of fans will now be going after them personally, because he has done this before to other people who he feels are standing in his way. And those people have had death threats. They've had to leave their homes. They've been fearful for their lives as a result of being targeted by Elon Musk. Now, the union that represents federal workers has put out a statement, and they say that these tactics are aimed at sowing terror and fear at federal employees. They say it's intended to make them fearful that they will become afraid to speak up. And Jim, something really interesting, I actually reached out to some experts on cyber harassment, online abuse, trying to get sort of their take on this. Jim, I had several of them refuse to speak to me on the record, and these are, academics, experts, things like that, because they themselves were fearful of becoming a target of Elon Musk themselves. Now, we did reach out to Vivek Ramaswamy, who is also part of this effort, this Department of Government Efficiency, and he didn't speak directly to whether it was appropriate to single out these individuals, but he did say our opponent is not any particular individual, our opponent is the bureaucracy. And I'll also add that we did try to reach out to Elon Musk via the press office, but they did not reply to our request for comment.
All right, Hadass Gold, thank you very much. Let's talk more about this. I want to bring in CNN political commentators Maria Cardona, a Democratic strategist, and Shermichael Singleton, a Republican strategist. Shermichael, should Elon Musk be going after individual federal workers on his social media platform this way? Isn't this cyberbullying?
Well, look, I mean, the reporter just said that it was doxing. I don't know if I would describe it that way. I mean, doxing is publishing private information, which the previous reporter you just had on also acknowledged that. I wouldn't go this route, though. I mean, I think you can fulfill your objective by removing many of these offices, closing down various departments if your goal, without necessarily naming people. I just don't think that that's useful, Jim. I mean, these people are probably already scared as hell that they're probably going to lose their jobs at some point. Focus on the goal, downsize when necessary. Don't put people's private, public names out there.
Yeah, Maria, isn't this sort of trying to create a climate of fear here in Washington?
Yeah, it's absolutely grotesque and disgusting, and it shouldn't be allowed. Jim, this is the type of behavior that if our children engaged in this, and when they do, if like in high school or junior high or middle school, you have a meeting with their teachers and their principals, and there is a punishment that is there for kids who engage in this type of bullying behavior.
Elon Musk is being a mean girl?
Exactly. And you know what that comes from? Insecurity. What is he insecure about? There are ways to do what he and Vivek Ramaswamy and Donald Trump want to do in terms of refining the federal government, taking away the kinds of jobs that they say are a waste. This is not how you do that, right? This is not how you go about making the government more efficient. This is how you go about injecting fear and, frankly, provoking violence against these workers who, Jim, as you know, I worked in the federal government during the Clinton administration, and I worked with so many public servants who were incredibly committed, and all they wanted to do was their job.
Yeah, and I do want to talk a little bit more about some of these picks, Shermichael. Trump's pick for director of the Domestic Policy Council. I mean, these are sometimes some of these we don't talk about quite as much, but Vince Haley, part of the Trump team. He was a proponent of the fake electors scheme after the 2020 election, and we can put this up on screen. This is according to the January 6th committee and some reporting we did here at CNN. He was circulating this idea that you could have state legislators, fake electors, and he at one point wrote in a text, "We should boldly assert that state legislators have the constitutional right to substitute their judgment for a certified majority of their constituents." I mean, Shermichael, are you worried about some of the people who are coming into some very important roles in the new Trump administration?
No, I'm not. When you win elections, you have the obligation to choose who you want. I mean, no one's thinking about what happened 4 years ago. Where people are thinking about the present and they're thinking about the future, Jim. And when you win the election, just like when Joe Biden won, Joe Biden was able to choose whoever the heck he wanted. I didn't like all of the people. Many Republicans didn't like all of the people. Donald Trump has the obligation and the authority as the president-elect to do the same darn thing. And some Democrats aren't going to like it either. And my advice would be to get over it, just as we had to get over it nearly 4 years ago when we lost the election.
But you know what, and Shermichael, you know I love you. Donald Trump himself has said that part of his goal is to go into the DOJ and to all of these agencies and relook at what happened in the 2020 election. So we can get over it. No, we can get over it, but you need to tell your president-elect, our president-elect, but your guy, to get over it as well.
Yeah, he hasn't really gotten over it, has he?
No, he has not. That's the problem, and he's making everyone suffer for it.
Jim, most Republicans that I know have gotten over it. They want to govern. They want to deliver results for the American people. They want to think about the future. That's what the American people elected Donald Trump to focus on, the future, not the past. And my advice to the president-elect will be to do just that, focus on the future.
Yeah,
but
let's talk about
That's the problem.
Let's talk about the past a little bit more. We're hearing for the first time from top members of the Harris campaign about what went wrong in the 2024 election that Donald Trump won this time around. Let's take a listen to this clip from Pod Save America.
Republicans don't make Trump apologize. And as Stephanie said, we don't have to mimic it. But I think that there are a lot of times where if you're in the Democratic Party and you step out of line, you get punished for it. Trump is putting these Republicans in the worst possible political, or what would seem to be, and they support it. Because at the end of the day, they understand that it weakens Trump. And, you know, this may sound like a shot across the bow, but it should be. Democrats are eating our own to a very high degree. And until that stops, we're not going to be able to address a lot of the things that just need to be said.
Yeah, Maria, what do you think about that?
I think there's a point to that. You know, I heard a lot during the election about how Democrats could learn a lot from Republicans about loyalty, but frankly, just about protecting your own and focusing on the what our goal should be and our priority, which should be winning. But look,
it's a little complicated though, because I mean, Democrats had a choice. They could have stuck with Joe Biden. They went with Kamala Harris.
Right.
The president was essentially pressured to step aside in favor of Kamala Harris. But had he not done that, it could have been an even bigger landslide.
Sure, and here's
not
what
that this one was a landslide, but it could have been a big victory.
That's right.
For Donald Trump.
It was not a landslide.
Yeah.
It was not. There's no mandate, and it's very, very close elections still.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that there's so much coulda, woulda, shoulda in terms of what happened or what didn't happen, and that is going to go on for months. I think the Democratic Party needs to focus on what we need to do moving forward. As we have seen, Republicans are going to overreach. They cannot help themselves. They're going to put in policies, and they're going to have behaviors like we just talked about that the American people are going to reject, and we need to be there in 2 years and in 4 years to make sure that we are fighting back for the American people.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, Maria Shermichael.
Jim, I just want to say quickly.
Quick final thought.
Look,
go ahead.
The vice president got 74 million votes, way more than Hillary Clinton by, I think, about 8 million. That's an incredible run in about 100 days. And I want to give the vice president her credit.
A lot fewer than Joe Biden.
I do want to be critical of her advisors. Jim, they spent $1.6 billion and left the vice president's campaign at $20 million debt. I would never hire any of them again. I don't blame that on the vice president. I blame that on Democratic consultants.
All right, we're going to keep this conversation. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do more of the woulda, coulda, shoulda another time, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Shermichael.